Okay, folks. Normally I would do a much longer show than I'm going to do this morning. Because it's a day off for me. It's one of the very few work holidays that we get. I should say, one of the very few away from work holidays I should get. Here's your holiday. Enjoy coming to work. What? And we're going to hopefully get done with this little tiger. Most of it's done. We got the drippings part to do. Oh, I really don't not want to flip this thing over. You know what? I'm not going to do that. It is just an eyesore of paint splattering and, I mean, it's what it's for. It's to keep the stuff off your desk. All right, so Jot Edit King, welcome. Gotta lose those, man. We gotta be able to see what's going on. Gotta take our glasses off. What? Okay. Get rid of this little dude. All right, and we're gonna remove this so we can work at these parts independently. I started to do this last night. It was just too well. I had a really good episode last night. Got a lot done, so. Let's get the three sisters out here again. I was hoping they'd actually have all kinds of other colors, but they don't. They have like a green and a whatever, and he's army painter. I mean, you can kind of make your own with the glazes, but it's not the same. This stuff is just really pleasant to use. All right, now that's not where they go. I don't think we'll make it to the Panther this morning. I may. We'll see. We're not going to rush this bit though. This is going to take a while. It's actually one of my favorite things to do. Happy 4th, Tony, from over the pond. Thank you. What's Britain's Independence Day? I'm not trying to be facetious, but I wonder what would be your equivalent. It still hasn't happened yet. And I'm not an anti-British person. You guys know that. I never thought about that. Britain's Independence Day. It certainly isn't that day you guys got taken over by the Normans, is it? No, Britain's Independence Day. What is it? does Britain have an Independence Day? It has no single official national holiday. Okay, well, when you guys do come up with one, don't come up with, the birth of this legend of bullshit. You guys call it legendary King Arthur. I call him bullshit. You guys deserve a better hero than that. Make believe, dude. Whatever. You guys can do better than that. Go with that. Who's the guy that defeated the dragon? George or whatever. All right, do him. Beating dragons is better than some make believe Arthur dude. What's your biggest national holiday? Well, I'll tell you what, you guys have you have an opportunity of doing something historical. Just go in there, just bust through that palace, take the king, string him up, and then you have a holiday on that day. Get you somebody whose ears aren't so big. Oh, man. Yeah, you guys across the pond make like a bigger deal out of like Boxing Day or something like that, which that's one of those things that I look up the definition of every day. Every year I look it up and I can't remember. I have like this spot in my brain where I can't remember what the hell it is. Bloody Boxing Day. Hey Marcus, you gonna blow anything up? Hopefully it stays calm where you're at. You live in a dangerous place. Well, not necessarily you, but unfortunately, Christmas, it starts in October. I know, it's crazy, right? What you doing? What you doing? We're finishing up the stripes on the tiger. Yeah. Christmas is a lot different when you don't have a little kid that's, you gotta hide stuff from Santa Claus. You know the best thing about Christmas? Online shopping. You don't have to go to those damn stores and wait in line. I couldn't tell you how many times we're like, all right, we got to get the Toys R Us at midnight, or like, no, I don't miss that. Or going like, we got to be the people would like camp out in front of Best Buy for like people would start camping out in front of our Best Buy before Thanksgiving, miss Thanksgiving, just so they could get one of the 12 TVs or whatever that they had limited there. I'm like, I wouldn't do that if you gave me the television. Just making burgers, no fireworks. Should have some good hobby time this weekend, though. Well, you'll have to do it without me because I'm going to be out of town. We almost always go out of town for this weekend. We used to go to this place in Fort Myers Beach 4 or 5 years in a row. It's this old school hotel. Old school meaning it's been around a long time, and Fort Myers Beach. And the hurricane came through there 2 years ago and just, it leveled the area. Didn't level Fort Myers Beach, but it didn't level this hotel, although it did damage this hotel. But this hotel's built like in the 40s or 50s, when they, built shit, worth a damn. And it didn't come crashing down or anything, but that's about 4.5 hours south of us. So we did that a few times. Pretty relaxing. Although it kind of sucked if the fourth landed on the wrong day. Like, this is the correct day for the fourth to land on. It's a Friday, so we get Friday off, and you get Friday off at no additional charge, meaning you don't have to use any personal vacation days, and you still have a 3-day weekend. One of these last days, it fell on a Wednesday, and you're like, oh man, you're fucked. I mean, you're fucked when it falls on a Wednesday. It's like you got to use 2 of your days and take them off in a row, kind of thing. You're not gonna, okay, I'll be off for Wednesday, and nothing like being off on a day, and you have to go to work the next day. It's like, are you really off? Okay, that's all we're going to talk about work today. And then I had a work dream too, work related dream that I just woke up from. Good thing I don't have a job I really think about in a place when I'm not there, but anyways, this place that we used to go on the beach, super family-friendly place. These people would bring, they did their own fireworks in the town, and you could see them from the beach. The beach is pretty wide there, and really calm waters. People would bring their own fireworks to shoot off on the beach. And I saw some people, they happened to be from South Florida, being really irresponsible. Like, really, really irresponsible. And not cool, man. You don't fuck around with fireworks. I mean, there's probably horrible quality control in fireworks. So, yeah, I don't get them. They're too expensive. They're way too expensive for just to piss your money away. And too many people are giving them away for free. It's not like, well, we won't see any fireworks if we don't do any. Well, that's different. This little town that we belong to does a 4th of July fireworks. We went last year. My daughter was out of town in Pennsylvania visiting a roommate. Friend / roommate, and we went to this little festival that this town did, and the fireworks themselves went on for 28 minutes. It was a huge waste of money, but it was pretty impressive. You guys have seen the stuff in the little notifications on Facebook about Happy Friday, England. Enjoy your work day. I'm like, we shouldn't be trying to stick it to the British about having a day off, because you guys have like 3 times more days off than we do in America. And everybody has twice as many days off as I do here. So, I'm certainly not going to be one to doing that. All those bank holidays. Everybody, all of a sudden, everybody works in a bank. People need time off to spend doing not what you're forced to do at work. Whatever it is that you want to do. Everyone has to either have a flexible schedule, or somebody at home needs to have a flexible schedule to be able to deal with all the stuff that kids do, or the cable guy is coming, or whatever it is that you've got. We got a plumber's leak and the plumber's coming. Well, the plumber's not going to come in on Saturday and Sunday when you're off. They're going to come in the middle of your work day. Well, I got to be at work. I mean, just like you leave for work for a little bit and everything goes south. You hit that iceberg you've been trying to dodge all day long. You leave and the nutnicks hit the freaking iceberg during the hour that you're gone. So you need somebody who has a flexible work schedule, or don't have kids. So don't have any indoor plumbing. Anyways, this tiger is not old, so maybe there shouldn't be that much rust on it. But all these ferrous materials they use to make this thing, they like to leakify. Doesn't have to be really pronounced, just an inkling of some different colors there. You working today, Marcus? Hey, you're your own boss. You can quit at any time. I think we can all do that. Change the topic. Did you buy your brushes at Hobby Lobby or Amazon? Need new fine detail brushes. Hobby Lobby. Hobby Lobby. You know, you could make anything work. Amazon would not. I've bought brushes at Amazon. My preference is to buy them in person, regardless of where you buy them in person. And the ones I've found that have been, I think, the best ones that are, we're talking about cheap brushes. We're not talking about spending. I don't spend big money on brushes. Even if I wanted to, there's nowhere I could go to and get them in personal. This Royal and Langnickel, and they're this almost like this green yellow looking bowling ball type thing, slightly metallic. Those have been the most I've been happy. The ones I've been happy with. Like if I need to get detail ones, those are the best ones. They're like $6.99, $5.99, whatever for 10 of them, and they work. And they're from Hobby Lobby. So don't run out on Sunday. You're up a creek. Don't get a hankering for Chick-fil-A or Hobby Lobby on Sunday. That's why if I had my own business, well, I'd go crazy, but that's beside the point. But if I had my own business, I would not be open on. I might as well work on Sunday. I mean, everything's freaking closed. I mean, a lot of things are closed. Much better than it was when I was a kid. When I was a kid, you were screwed. I mean, there wasn't a damn thing to do on Sunday other than go to church, a funeral, or, die, or, fill up the car with gas. Okay, that was fun. What are we going to do the rest of the day? I don't know, yard work. Fuck, I hate Sundays. Can I have another day off? Everything closes early, so you get even more Sunday blues. I've been getting Sunday blues for, I don't know, my whole life. I've never liked Sundays. I'll be at Hobby Lobby soon when I travel to Virginia later in the month. Yeah. Yeah, go buy you a whole slew of them. And some hand sanitizer while you're at it. I'm looking for one that's buy one, get one free. And my wife went to the store the other day and was asking, "Do you need anything?" And I said, "Man," she was going to Sam's, and I'm like, "Oh, see if they got hand sanitizer, because like I'm out. I haven't run out in like 3 years. It's not like I go through that much of it, but I've got some of it in the car. When you pump gas and stuff, you don't want to have a gas hands. Gas hands. After you pump gas and shit like that." And so I got some of that in the car, and I got here to do cleans on the brushes and stuff like that. And coworker was telling me, a young coworker was telling me, I was telling about hand sanitizer, and they said, "Oh, you really shouldn't be using that stuff," because I had a science teacher, insert nerd burglar. I had this nerd burglar that told me that basically, and this may be true, but I'm not going to worry about every fucking thing, okay? That's not me, all right? So if you use it, it cleans your hands, but that stuff gets absorbed by your skin. I'm like, well, I guess I'll be full of freaking paint that gets absorbed in my skin, and I'll die from that, I don't need more shit to be scared of. I already don't like air travel. I already didn't like air travel, and it seems like planes are falling out of the sky, or the media just has a hard on. I'm sorry, I meant to say hard on, to report every single little air disturbance that happens at any moment. Because they sure make it sound like there's 100 times more air travel problems than there was, 6 months ago. So, the media always causing problems. We got enough problems. Man, I got enough problems at work. I don't need more problems. Our furniture factory is closed, but the coffee shop is open. I'll do a little work today, but not too much. Furniture factory. I didn't know you had a furniture factory too. Jeez. Holy divested resources. I guess I really don't know what you do, but that's fine. Because you kind of don't know what I do either. I'm not defined by what I do for a living. Thank God. But I did tell the wife, I said, I need to find a way to start bringing my lunch with me. Not to eat at my desk, but to not spend 20 minutes traveling. And that's 10 there and 10 back. So it's not like it's a long travel. It might actually be less than 10. But, I'm rushed to travel to get home to have lunch, right? And then I get home and on this road, half the people are retired, and the other third seem like they're working from home. I get bitter when I'm rushing all the time, and people taking it easy. It just bugs me, and it shouldn't bug me, but it does, because I got to deal with it another decade and a half. I just feel like my whole existence is being rushed all the fucking time, and I absolutely hate it. One of the reasons I don't regularly go play at so and so's house, because I got to be rushed to get over there, and meanwhile he's not, because he has the fucking day off. So I'm just kind of bitter about it. you know. And there's nothing I can do about it other than, I don't know, go work for Marcus where, you know, I don't know, you work a lot more than I do, I'm sure. But it's just a rush thing. So like literally like the thing I can't stand the most is being interrupted. You know, especially as you get older, you like it takes you longer to remember. Okay, now where the fuck was I? And I don't do any drugs. Maybe I should. No. So you did tell me about Uhuru Design, but you're just running like books and stuff for them, right? Uhuru Design. You did tell me Uhuru Design. That's a good name for an imagination. I went yesterday and I'm like, fuck, it's garbage day and take it out because I was in such a mode that yesterday was Friday. So I literally took everything out that was done like for. So not only did I take the garbage out a day early, it's not going to go today. Fuck it, the garbage can stay out there for 2 days. We're going out of town anyway, so I would have had to pull it out this morning. It's not like it's illegal to leave your garbage can out there, you know. Did you get that? I don't know. I didn't check to see. Did you get that message I sent you with some photos? No, you'll check it out later. I sent you. I sent you. I sent you. I sent you a. I picked up a copy of not War Games Illustrated. War Games Soldiers and Strategy, the Pacific episode with some stuff for terrain, and I was pleased to find out that the terrain stuff that they use there, that I was thinking of using, is exactly what they ended up using in it, and it looks pretty good. So, whenever we get around to doing that, and that's the direction that we're going to go in. It's not stuff I should be spending money on right now. Wife's been laid off for a few months, so I'm getting 20-year ago flashbacks, and I'm not really happy about it. So, good morning, Jim. Oh, you found the channel. Well, now you can see the over 200 DBA videos we have on here. Don't blow yourself up. I laugh, but man, there's a lot of videos of people doing extremely stupid stuff. You know. Yeah, we should be done this soon. We'll switch over to the Panther rehab. That'll be perfect timing. Starting on some Pacific kit this coming week. Yeah, first thing I'd do is I'd order some of that bamboo. Make the bamboo clusters. There's individual trees. I don't want to put them on a big clump, but the bamboo, I could see making areas of bamboo that are like this big or something like that, and it's just solid. Now some of those come with these weird things, like they give you like these almost like something that belongs on a golf course, like almost like these hills. They're seems like they're about half an inch tall or whatever, and then you're supposed to stick those things. I'm sure they're made out of styrofoam and look all cheap and shit. I ain't using that. But if you don't need to buy any materials, hold off for a little bit. I'm gonna do a review on them as soon as I allow myself to order them. 'Cause I got like 7 or 8 Pacific terrain type things in my Amazon shopping cart. That's just waiting for me to pull the trigger on them and get them in a couple days. And then I'll do an unboxing and okay, these palm trees look good. These are trash. Just because it's returnable. That's the wonderful thing about Amazon. It's a bargain. It's a not a bargain. It's a good trade. Like I trade you my goods and my monies for a product, and if the product you provide me is garbage, it's going back to you. It doesn't cost me anything. You know. Now maybe the stuff that I order, maybe all of it's good. I need to be prepared to not return it. So and some of the photoshops that these people did on these on the scenarios in this magazine for the Pacific seemed like they used for the ground cover almost like a terry cloth, maybe not terry cloth, but definitely like a towel with I don't think it was teddy bear fur. I think it was like a towel like that was dyed for the base color of the groundwork. And I'm trying to like dissect it. Like, all right, that's there. So if I took all the terrain, would it kind of look like ass? And you're like, yeah, it kind of would. It's like, all right. So when you're putting your stuff together, that's the whole thing. Is like you're putting something together. You need to have like these like mileposts in your mind that trust the process. Keep this needs a little bit something else, so you don't like get discouraged. Like this isn't going to turn out how the end result's going to look like. Like that just comes with experience. So I was trying to dissect. Like, okay, this terrain looks pretty freaking awesome, but let's break down the individual pieces of it. If we add some of that here and add some of that there, and that's too much red in it. This mid brown is more like light red. It's got a lot of. It's a little too red. Again, I want to have to see the Panther all the way through because how it looks right now, I'm not very happy with it at all. And it's mainly due to the performance of this paint, of this ammo made of hand painting. And I'm not hand painting that shit again. Did you finish the jungle outpost model? Yeah, well, it's not sealed. Mm-hmm. And it looks fantabulous. It looks better than any other jungle outpost I've seen. Because I didn't take the easy way out. The easy way out is just, paint it in one color and give it a wash. Bullshit. You're never going to want to use this thing. You know? So, not only did we not do that, but when we did this rattan siding here, I got chairs in the back that look almost the exact same color as this. And you have these pieces that fold up. I wanted to do the pieces that fold up a different color than this, like they're faded. Because otherwise, it just, when you get to this side, and the side isn't up, there was not an option to raise it. And you wouldn't be able to tell where this window was that goes up in real life. And, in the game, you'll be able to shoot out of it, because there's well, this thing doesn't really protect you from anything, but still, this can be an opening. I wanted to make sure that there was a differentiation there in thing. And I'm like, I'm not going to have the bamboo on the floor the same color as the sides. That's just lazy, and it just doesn't look right to me. So, yeah, it took a lot of freaking time to do it. But you know what? If you do it right, you don't have to do it again. So this thing looks pretty sweet. It just needs to be sealed. So. Scrolling through shorts and you pop. How cool is that? My friend is a superstar in his own channel. Okay, enough, fanboy. Going back to sleep. Hope to see you at Huracan. I'll plan on being there. I don't know that I'll be there the whole time, but going back to sleep. Fuck that. This is my form of therapy. Other people have to have a drink after work. I need to do a show. I need to do some hobbying. I didn't realize it was in short supply. I really had no idea. And I saw it, and this one guy at the convention was one guy was at a convention selling it. I guess there's a couple different versions of it. This one did not come with the base, because I guess originally they came with like a base section with like terrain and stuff on it or whatever. Which I'm glad it didn't come with a base, because first of all, it would be like really flimsy. It'd be like that. It'd be like this material, right? Except it's not soft. It'd be and it eventually like would crack. So I don't really want that. And then I'd have to somehow blend that into the ground. I'm fine with it not having any groundwork on it. I do need to prime all the other little goodies that come with it. A little horse and the little nip holding the horse thing. Handheld nip. We'll just use him for a regular soldier. It's not like, okay, he's always hanging out the house. Well, Roshi, now, he likes to hang around the house and fuck with the horse. No, it's not that kind of thing. He's just a regular soldier. He just happened to be included in that. Then you got to have like horse handlers of different countries. No, we're not doing all that shit. We'll use him for a regular soldier. He's a pretty good casting. But then the artwork on that cards game, and I keep bringing it up because the artwork is just so fucking gorgeous. It looks so good. I love oil painting style things, when they're done right. And a lot of the stuff is the Pacific. Their Pacific stuff looks great. Is it shadows? Is it rust? Exactly. I never would have thought that this is the thing I enjoy doing the most, is this rustification. But I do. Oh, I see another fleshy face. What if that's Jeffrey? It is. What's next after the tiger? Oh, do I have to decide right now? It should be the panther, which looks like a poo stain right now at this moment. But one of the products I'm not looking forward to using again, and it's not because it's a bad product. It just involves the kind of thinking that I'm not really good at. This stuff right here, the camouflage putty, is I had a vision and it didn't meet that vision. So most people are going to look at this and go, "Oh, you just picked the wrong colors." No, the colors are what I wanted them to be. It already has a wash on it. Believe it or not, this is actually olive green option 2 and chocolate brown. Believe it or not, that's these two right out of the bottle. The base color is the paler Dunkelgelb, which is what I wanted it to be. So the colors are what I wanted them to be. It's just when I was doing the pattern, the first thing is like, all right, let's put the brown everywhere we want it. So I put this masking stuff, and you have to get inside your brain and pull it inside out. You have to put the masking where you want the color that the whole thing is covered in to stay. So it's like, huh? Where it's like, okay, this is, the normal way to think about it is, okay, this whole thing is painted Dunkelgelb Aus 44. Okay? Where do I want the brown? And then you paint the brown stuff. And where do you want the green? You paint the green. No, it's the opposite. I have to mask what I want to stay and then airbrush what's going to be brown. So like, okay, I already had to think about that. And then doing the green, like now you're screwed, because now you're like, all right, now I've got to mask everything that I want to stay of the brown and the buff to leave the green. I'm like, I just ended up like, I can't do that. I'm going to hand paint the green. And the hand painting part was the issue, because hand painting this thin ass paint, it was actually thick. It was weird. It was really, really weird. So I'm confident in my abilities of being able to fix things. And I don't like the way this turned out. I actually don't like this side either. I saw a picture with these colors, so it's not a color issue. And I do want it to be, this is like a 1945 Panther. Even later than Bulge. So, plus your eye gets distracted by things that are glossy and they're really not. So, I think that when we're done, I'm going to take a picture of it before I start it. And when we're done, I'm going to be happy with it, whatever that might be. But, I don't like using that because it's counterintuitive. I don't like anything counterintuitive. It doesn't make sense to me. That's for those Algebra 2 people. Counterintuitive crap. But, so the first thing I'm going to do is bring it back with the base color Dunkelgelb. And although it might be really close to the sand, we'll still do it and kind of even some stuff out. And by the time we do the black lining, it'll be straightened out. So, and that's just one of those things that experience just, you don't look at this and go, oh, there's no hope for it. You're like, look, this is early in the process. Everything that I do, even this thing, doesn't look that good. Like, I wasn't excited about the Tiger very much until I got and did the show last night and started adding the dry brush colors on top of it to get it all together. Then I was like, really like, oh yeah, this thing's looking good. So I understand that you got to get like 70% of the way through the process really to kind of understand where it's going. But you can't just jump ship as soon as things start looking like, man, this isn't turning out really well. When it's a process that you've done a couple hundred times. So I specifically wanted the Panther to look in those colors and to look different from any of the other ones. And if I don't like it, I'll just repaint it. You know, it's not like it's a big deal. Now, that's the problem with the hand painting it. Not only was it sticky, it was actually thick. It's weird. I'm not going to buy ammo MIG paint again because I would rather have a Vallejo type paint that I can thin when I need to airbrush it, but it works fine hand painting, than one that you need to pray to all the gods to make sure that it works okay with a paintbrush. Like, it's just too much. Like, you're too finicky, too high maintenance for paint. I'd rather airbrushing it be the problem, not hand painting it be the problem. So to answer your question, the Panther probably next. Even though that's not really what I want to do next. But it's what I should do because it's here and I'm feeling kind of down about it. So, and it's mainly because here you got all these lines that are kind of vertical, and then when you go over here, it just kind of happened that these are almost going horizontal. I don't know that I'm really liking that, but let's just kind of follow it all the way through. I think it's going to straighten itself out. So, had your eye on a 100-piece set. I also like those shot up half trees in the photographs. I'll have to check those out. But I want all my trees. See, all my trees that I'm going to do, I'm going to drill them all out. I mean, unless they're in a clump, they're all going to be drilled. I don't want a stand for one tree. I may do that with the orchards, but I don't want one stand with one tree. So I'll drill them out, put magnets. Still got tons of magnets. Boom, boom, boom. Those other trees I have mixed in with them. Lichen, they have a fair amount of lichen that they used in their terrain. It looks good. It looks good, the stuff they have. It could look better, but it looks pretty good. I'd be happy playing on that kind of stuff. Mitch was making a big deal about a beach. I think it was Mitch. What about a beach? I'm not worried about a beach. I mean, I don't have to make a beach. The whole point in making up your own island is so I don't have to make a beach with Marines. That the Marines can fight somewhere if there's not a beach. You want to do something like Luzon, but there's no Marines there. Well, there are now. I'm not asking them, make an island like Australia, up to the size of Australia and put Marines there. I'm talking about, put some kind of an island where they can get away from shore bombardment. And the Japanese can have some tanks if I decide to use tanks. And maybe even use some tanks that were never used on the home island, other than on the home island. So you can have some tanks that can actually fight a freaking Sherman if I come across one. Not like, oh, well, this is a cool Japanese tank, but I can't build it. Why? Well, because they only used it on the home island. Well, that's the kind of rules that we want to break. We don't want to, have them shooting missiles and shit like that. That's not the purpose. The purpose is like, it says like, okay, well, it's Hagos versus, Sherman kind of things. Like that gets old. That's going to be an ass beating for the Japanese every time. This thing's about done here. Again, another thing that I suck at, these barrels with a freaking line on them. I mean, I swear I sanded that thing a lot. And it didn't. I still see a line on it. You know what? Fuck it. Fuck you. You're staying on there. I can only do so much. The paint color of this thing is spot on where I want it to be. Okay. Okay, there's something fucking dusty here. There's some old instructions or whatever. I'm getting it because it only happens to me here, and then it goes away immediately. You spend all day like not freaking sneezing. See if we can get some photos of this thing. God, the color is just all off. I'm glad to see that the numbers are not as invisible as I thought they were going to be. That's good to know. If I put auto is the only thing I do. Auto doesn't look right either. It's halfway between original and auto. Anyhow, I'm pretty happy with how that looks. Not bad for $5 model that's 30 something years old, or maybe even older than that. Probably 40 years old. All right. I'm not worried about the Panzer crew right now. I've got two guys I'm specifically painting for this thing. All right, on to the Panther. And the first thing we're going to do is, you saw this, I was airbrushing this the other day, and I realized that the guy that I rescued this from glued the freaking mantlet upside down. And the problem isn't just flipping it. I don't know what to do with this other than make it a wreck, which I don't want to do. I don't have that many extra tigers. I'm not opposed to making a wreck. This is the problem. Look how this thing is glued together. I don't know that I'm gonna. That's why I didn't paint both of them at the same time. I realized that I'm like, shit, it's back asswards. Now, probably the easiest thing is fill in these holes, drill the one up here, and drill the other two at the top. But I kind of don't want to do that. But man, there's a lot of effing glue on there. So we'll punt that one away. But the really noticeable thing is you take something like this Dragon pre-paint, and you're like, oh, this thing looks awesome. I don't know if I'm going to repaint this thing because it looks so good. And then I do my other elephant, and I'm like, this thing looks boring as fuck. I don't think I could use this in a game looking like this. So the table's turned 180 degrees. I don't think I'm going to repaint it just yet, because if I get another Eschi model, I'm probably going to want to well, I still have the original mold. But I don't think I'm going to leave this in this color. I think I'm going to, at least case scenario, at least do the black washing and everything on it, and then dry brush, and then bring it up like that. But leaving it as is, it looks unsatisfactory. It looks bland, is what it looks like. So, all right, let's flip this to the ugly side, and I do mean ugly. And get the panther down here. All right, first thing we're going to do is let's get this light Dunkelgelb. Then we'll do black panel washing. I might actually change the way I do that a little bit. I need to get this looking more normal. I hope I don't encounter any issues with the paint being really thick in places. And when I dry brush it, I notice it, because the hand painting part did not go well, and I was not rushed either. All right, where is? Let's use this probably. Net camouflage. That might actually be a good idea. That might actually be a good idea. Yeah, like I said, I could just flip the thing. I could just fill these things in and then re-drill them up here, and then it'd be okay. But they were going to be buddies, like this is 221. This one doesn't have the hatches open, so this is, maybe 223 or something. I'm glad I didn't have to resort to making some SS vehicle. Bunch of assholes. God, this is so effing watery. This is so unpleasantly effing watery. I may actually skip this step and just go into the pale sand. We'll see. Trust the process, Tony. Oh, I said I was going to take a picture before. Let's do that. Because this is getting into the areas that I'm really good at. There's some stuff I'm not good at. The painting part is not one of them. That's my strong suit. I suck at building compared to this part. Or at least I do. I can make myself happy with my painting skills. Now this later Dunkelgelb supposedly was used on new vehicles. I don't know why. I'm sure they probably ran out of other colors. All right, so here's what we're going to do. This paint just doesn't have enough, we'll call it pigment. It doesn't have enough pigment for it to stick. So I'm going to take the Vallejo paint, and I'm going to add some of it to this color. To help thicken it. And then we'll go over with that. And this is the same method that I did with the Tiger. It's the same method I do with all the vehicles. I was thinking about doing ambush. I just decided not to do ambush. My other Panther originally had ambush on it, and although it didn't look bad, I just didn't feel like having another ambush vehicle just yet. Good morning, Barnes. Barnes, the best character in Platoon. Notice I didn't say in my opinion. Again, this is not the part I would call weathering. This isn't the dirt and stuff. This is just making the surface look irregular. Okay. It's funny because I had to repaint the other Panther too. I chose to. It actually, the ambush didn't look that bad. I probably could have just fixed it. But the Dunkelgelb I used on it was actually a little too warm. odd sound. But that means one of the girls is up or something like that already. We got to get up early packing. I didn't paint the barrel on purpose. I don't know what I was thinking. I didn't know what color I was gonna do. I'm gonna leave it alone. I don't know what that means, but I'm not gonna focus on that. Happy Trader Day. They give you the day off for treason. They do. We already came here when it was already put in place. Like, oh, there's people that already fought off the English fuckers. All right, well, let's. I guess we'll show up there now at the shores. All right, so we basically look like it went through some concrete dust. That's kind of what we're looking at. So, without further ado, we're going to drop right into the black lining. Okay, that's going to make the biggest difference. I'm not going to be able to see whether or not I'm going to be happy with this until we do black lining. So let's find the dark tone. Yep, it's one of the few holidays we get off. I'm gonna get I think 4 or something like that. Memorial Day, well, the 1st of January, Memorial Day, 4th of July, Labor Day, Thanksgiving, the day after Thanksgiving, and Christmas. That's it. The rest of them you have to use your own vacation days. Which of course means, do work in advance and then leave somebody else to fuck it up for you. And then fix it when you get back. But they're going to fuck it up even when I'm there, so. Yeah. Like I was saying earlier, you weren't on here yet, but somebody was bragging on Facebook about, it was probably on the World History shitposting site or something like that. They always have some ass clownery that goes on there. And these guys were saying that, oh, enjoy working on your Friday, people from England or something like that. I'm like, I wouldn't be bragging about having a day off when, in the old country they have a shitload more days off than we do. And a shitload more day off most people have here than I do. So Mitch has been in his job about a third as much time as I have, and he has twice as many days off as I do. But that's fine, because I don't have to wear a fucking hairnet when I go to work. Joke's on him. Man, that's the wrong thing to be bragging about with people from England about days off. Like, they got us beat. We can brag about blowing stuff up, driving cars that, that have any kind of horsepower on the correct side of the road, and shooting guns and things like that. But days off, yeah, we shouldn't be bragging about that. It'd be like us bragging about having better history than they do. Bullshit. I got this one neighbor. I don't even know who they are. I never met them. They don't live that close to the house, but I gotta drive by their house all the way in, and they're always fucking home when I'm home. I'm like, what do you? Whose dick do you have to suck to have that many days off? Yeah, maybe who works from home or whatever. I'm like, that fucker's home every single time I'm home. It's just really annoying to have, very few days off, and then when you have a day off, you see that some asshole's fucking home too, the same day I'm off. It's my fucking day off. I took it off. You need to go and get your ass to fucking work. I have to come home and there's fucking nobody here. Hairnets cause premature balding. Do they? I don't know. Hairnets cause you looking like a lunch lady the whole time you're wearing one. No thanks. And then when we're done with this stage, we'll give this a dry brush and then realize whether or not we have to repaint this to make ourselves happy. And I honestly don't know what the answer to that is, but I don't think it's going to come to that. But we do need to do our due diligence. And try to take all the steps before we come to that conclusion. But Zimmer, man, I fucking hate Zimmer. Because if it wasn't for Zimmer, I would have just painted this in a standard, yellow color. But, if I do that, then during that time period, the Panther G's would have had Zimmer on them. It just... Zimmer ruins everything. This didn't come with Zimmer. If it came with Zimmer, no problem. I'll paint the Zimmer. It looks great. But putting my own Zimmer on, I'm not going down that road. That's exhausting. Spain's part in the American Revolutionary War is normally overlooked. So is the French one. Yep. I don't know how big a part it was, but it certainly didn't hurt. I'd make a case that, are bourbon Spanish really Spanish? Well, I don't know what next week's going to look like. The daughter's going to be gone for about a week. She flies out tomorrow. She got invited to go on a cruise to Alaska as a babysitter, and they're paying her way. So that's good. Not jealous. Alaska's one of those places I'm not really... After going to Europe, I don't give a fuck if I ever go to Alaska. I mean, Russia didn't want it. Europe's too cool to be fucking around with Alaska. But anyhow, I would have gone. You pay for my cruise and I'll go. But This year, we're days off are in short supply, so she's doing that for a week or so. So we should be on a fair bit next week. But not this weekend. After this session, I'm gonna get back sometime Sunday, and I don't know if it'll be early enough to do a show. I suspect it may not be, so it may not be back on until Monday morning. Let's do this little bit around this MG post. Yeah, still got those three little Hitler-Jugend guys. I haven't put the grass on. Just sitting over there on idle. I really don't like putting the German cross down here in the bottom corner. It's just, you gotta hand paint it. That's a very restrictive area to try to find the right the right cross and make it the right size so it actually fits in that restrictive area. I don't really like the way it looks either. It's almost like a private. Yeah, we're Germans, but don't tell anybody. You know. Took most of Texas and Louisiana from the Brits. Um, the Brits never had Texas. It was French. Unless they captured it or whatever. I don't know. I think you should give California back. Here, have fun with it. Marcus can be the guy. Marcus, should we give California back? Hold on, let me sell my coffee shop first. The land of fruits and nuts. That's everywhere now. That's what California was known for years, the rest of the United States. The land of fruits and nuts. Because they make a lot of fruits and nuts in more than one way. One of the things that I got sucked into watching while I was having my breakfast before I came on today is, and I don't know why, it was suggested to me and it kind of caught my attention, was this how they made this movie set to film the Titanic movie, out in Baja, South Baja. I imagine in the Mexico part. How they basically made this berm out of dirt, and it was like a fast speed video of it. And I'm sitting there thinking, I'm not a save the earth kind of guy, but that's a waste of resources to build like a freaking ship in the desert just to undo it. Just seems like a huge waste, to build something and then oh yeah, well we're gonna scrap it all. Like, I thought Mr. Cameron was a save the earth type of dude. It's kind of like a waste of resources, building all that shit and then. I don't like seeing things destroyed. I don't like seeing buildings being demolished. Oh well. We know what I really don't like seeing? And I catch these I don't actually look for any of this stuff on. Again, I get some kind of like a movie recap of something. This is a kind of movie I haven't seen a single movie of. And I'm probably never going to watch any of these movies. But I did get sucked into watching this 10 minutes or so of the special effects on this Final Destination thing. And it's kind of sickening. It kind of sickens me that a certain kind of movie. And it was like a bad train. It was like a bad train wreck, except it was a lot more than a train wreck. And I'm like, I don't want to watch this shit, man. Like, unfortunate stuff like happened to people that, well, I don't know. I don't know what their character's like. I don't know if they deserve it or anything. But maybe they deserve it, but not everybody else is on the freaking building collapsing. Like, it's just, I don't like stuff like that. Like, it rubbed me the wrong way. I don't like innocent people just suffering for, for laughs. I don't think it's funny, you know. Like I said, we can pretty much make fun of everything on here, but we're not doing Holocaust jokes and stuff. That's not cool. That stuff's not. That's not acceptable. Now, luckily, I only spent a small amount of time doing that, pretty much looking at that stuff while I'm having breakfast. But I know there's people that just look over and over and over at all these reels on stuff that's just suggested to them. It's like, oh my God, what a time suck. Been reading about the Jeffress 9-pound sticky bomb dropped by hurricanes during the Second Alamein. Never heard of it. You used you use hurricanes and something that has to do with the desert in the same sentence, and I get this vision of these hurricanes with those 40 millimeter guns on them, the gun pods or whatever, sexy things. Yeah, hurricane doesn't get a lot of mention, but hurricane's a good looking plane. Hurricane's a good looking plane. I don't know what would have happened. What would have happened if Britain never would have made a Spitfire? They just had Hurricanes. I think they would have. I think the same results would have happened. I mean, it still would have won. There's nothing wrong with a Hurricane, other than a little slower. Could turn tighter than the Spitfire. I almost picked up one of those, but didn't really want to make one crash. I feel a lot better about making a 109 crash than a British plane crashed. Oh, man. It's funny how this is the same brown as the standard chocolate brown, and it looks like it's red oxide looking thing. And that just has to do with the other color. That just has to do put it with a different colored dunkel go, and that's what you get. You've been deceived by the eye. I need to finish up this stuff that's sitting here on the table. The 109 is not done. I don't know what I have left to do with it other than clear coat it. Maybe a little bit of drippings. I think it doesn't have any drippings. I think that's what it is. Well, we should probably do some Kursk stuff, considering it's the Kursk time of the year. Starts tomorrow, doesn't it? So I got a Martyr 3, waiting to be built from Eschi. A 3, I think it's considered a 3H. think one of the issues that I had with this stuff is when I painted this, I think the paint I thinned it too much. I think I thinned the Dunkelgelb too much. So there's like retarder in there, and it made the surface kind of slick. So when I applied the wash on it, it didn't adhere as well as it had in the past. So that's all right. We'll be mindful of that crap next time. I don't know what I want to do with the barrel. I might just leave it like that, like it's not really bothering me that much. I got other shit I gotta fix before I'm worried about the barrel. All right, we're gonna need to paint those tracks. That'll probably straighten some of the look of that stuff out. You got most of the black lining in place. This goes in at 90. Okay. Okay, so it looks better. I think what I need to do then is let's paint all the things that are solid colors before the weathering. Okay, so road wheels. Let's do the track first. That's really becoming kind of like an eyesore to me. The eyesore from Mysore. I have no idea what kind of numbering system I'm going to use on this thing. Probably black numbers, to be honest with you. I don't want them to be like dun, you know, like poke your eye out kind of thing. Let's add some black to this. I think the other late war Panthers also black numbers. All right, folks, I'm gonna do a little work and then the holiday can begin. Have a good weekend. If I don't see you on, okay? You too, man. The holiday's already begun, or began about 5 o'clock last night for me. That's on there, the spare track. We'll do the same thing with this other side. Of course, it's, going to get more painting on it, but just to get it out of some color other than this base camouflage that's really kind of throws you off. They used the Hurricane and with a Jeffress bomb before the Mark IIs with the Vickers K 40mm cannons became available. How did the Kitty Hawk compare to the Hurricane? Well, the Hurricane had what? 830 cals. The Kitty Hawk had, I know there's a million different versions of it, but 650s. Kitty Hawk is less maneuverable, can absorb more damage. Do you ever put a shark's mouth on a Hurricane? I don't know that I've seen one. Well, let's get the back side of this. Let's not let this get by. Okay, that makes it look better. There's a ubiquitous jack back there. Road wheel time. He's a Hurricane. Yeah. I couldn't remember which the version was that had the 40 mils on it. I had one from, I had a GHQ model for the desert. when I was doing micro armor that had the gun pods underneath it. All right, that side's done. I'm looking at the MG, might as well paint it. Kitty Hawk more suited to desert conditions than Spitfire. Flight characteristics similar to Hurricane, but hit harder. I think they were pretty well liked. You know, the funny thing is all the U.S. Lend-Lease stuff was pretty much received happily. I don't think it was anything that the U.S. sent to the British, and the British were like, "What's this crap?" You know. Ah, yes, the ubiquitous Jack. the shovel head. All right, it's starting to look better. And you do the wheels on this side. Good morning, everyone, from around the world. Finally, you're up. Well, what about all the people that have to work today? I said, well, they had the. I'd like to think that they had a day off when I had to work. I mean, when I worked at the hobby store, I worked weekends, and I didn't complain about it. Of course, I had other days off during the middle of the week, you know. Man, if I didn't have to pack and stuff, I'd get this thing done today and realize, okay, we want to repaint this, or we're good with the way it is. But probably the last time I'm going to try to hand paint those AK paints that way. They just can't be counted on to not clump up and stuff. It was weird because they're like watery too. All right, let's do the edges. We didn't do the edges. Not really a fan of these N11 road wheels. And neither has anybody that ever had to replace one of them. Has anyone built an Airfix 135th Sturmpanzer Brummbär? I find it so weird that Airfix makes 135th scale stuff. That just like, man, that just, when did they start doing that? I don't know, probably tens of years ago, but I've been outside that 135th scale model seat for so many years. I'm just not even really sure what the heck they make anymore. I think this will turn out fine. I just don't know yet. I just don't know. Think of all the 135th scale models I ever built. They were all Tamiya with the exception of I had a Polish 7TP tank. I don't know what brand it was. It was probably a Polish brand. And I had a Soviet T60 that was a Russian brand or Ukrainian brand model way back when. Neither one of those were very good. They were a bit devoid of detail. And I think all the other models I had were Tamiyas. Pretty sure. The gold standard, Tamiya. Pretty sure that's the case. Oh no, I had an Italeri Panzer IV F2. I never did finish that one. I was doing that one for Alam Hafa, or whatever the name of that thing was, for Alamein. And I don't know how the Airfix ones compare, but man, the instructions on the Tamiya are like second to none. I don't really like their paint advice, their paint color advice. Just like, they're gonna like suggest their own paints even though it's not the right color, kind of thing. But I guess maybe everybody would probably do the same thing. So. This is that part you can afford to be, just a slight bit sloppy because it's going to get dry brushed heavily. saved any photographs other than this one that was in this park in Belgium, and it caught my attention. Where is it? This. Obviously, we're not going to put the Balkenkreuz that big on the. But see how all that camouflage is vertical? That really threw me off. Here's some other versions of it that aren't as good. And I specifically wanted to be hard. I wanted it to be hard edge because I haven't done one. Not gonna listen to Airfix on high paint. Never happened. Yeah. You gotta use Humbrol paint. I ain't using no damn Humbrol paints. Screw you and your Humbrol paints. Ain't nobody got time for that. Alright, I'll be right back. Gotta make coffee. Alright. U.S. field drab. And this that paint's really, really slippery too. Ooh, too heavy. And there's other products and stuff you can buy for this stuff. I'm not used to using them. That's just throwing money down. I don't need to spend money on that stuff. I'm happy with what I'm doing here. Next thing you know, I really, really like it when I redo all my vehicles. Like, I don't want to take 2 steps forward and 3 back kind of thing. I'm happy how this looks. To me, it looks better than most of the stuff I see in wargaming magazines, which is, kind of what I consider the gold standard. So, all right. Maybe a little bit down here in the bottom. Maybe. This thing looks like it got involved in something like February 1945, where the snow melted and stuff like that. This is where we're going to see it happen. This is where we're going to see the. If I'm happy with this, it's going to happen at this stage right here. Watch me not even paint this barrel. And you see all these pictures all the time of your late war German tanks. I was like, all right, put that barrel on it. It's nothing but primered or gray or something like that. Gotta get almost all this stuff off, and not just have these big ass streaks. This Iraqi sand is a really good color because it has some warmth to it. It doesn't look that chalky. And you can come in and you can maybe pinpoint some other things that you want to do in a different way. Now, I'm doing a lot of this turning and I feel like it's damaging this. I'm going to go ahead and snip these little off. Put my glasses on, step away from this thing. Well, it looks infinitely better. It looks infinitely better. Let me grab this King Tiger that has this late war paint. Has the same type of color. I think the only thing I'm not liking about it is that the wash behaved. I got a late war thing too, right? The Packwagen. Packwagen is those colors. Packwagen doesn't have any drippings on it, I don't think. Nope, it's pre-drippings. Yeah, it's just standard chocolate brown. This might be Rosetta Green, which is the lighter version of this one. But this is the late war Dunkelgelb. So, what I'm going to do is We're gonna have to clear coat. We're gonna have to do the clear coat part. I think we're gonna stick with this color. I don't think we're gonna repaint it. I don't know what numbering system I want to do yet. I'm probably going to have to think about that for a couple days. But I know that we may have to put a decal here. May have to put a decal here. May have to put, who knows what kind of decals here on the side and on the back and on this side. And I'm probably not going to put one there, but doesn't hurt anything to have that. And then what do we have in the back? There might be one there or there. I think that's where we need to stop for today. That's the places where the markings are going to be. If it was in a comic book, we'd put a big one here on the forward. All them comic book looking things. Yeah, it's still going to, we still need a little bit of dry. We're going to put the decals down, get them where we want them, and then we do a couple more stages of dry brushing, maybe some more pin washing, the drippings, and I think this will actually look pretty good. It'll actually look pretty good. When you pull it next to this, you know, we're in the same family of colors for sure. So, yeah, this has no rust or drippings or something like that. I started doing that afterwards. This is a pain to put together, actually. Make you put all the suspension parts on there. But anyways, this is where we're going to stop for the Panther. And we'll be back as soon as we can be back on, which probably not going to be until Sunday. So, okay, you guys have a happy 4th. Don't blow yourselves up. We'll see you guys on the next one.